Hello everyone, this is Easter Sunday. Decided it's time to go for another ride. Easter Sunday is always a good time to go for a ride. So where we're going up today, as you can see over here on the west coast of Canada, there's Sooke. And the gates are open today, so this is a perfectly legal ride. And we're on Muir Mainline. And if you take a look, you can see where it starts to come up Highway 14 on the way to Port Renfrew. And actually it came in this way. This is sort of a bypass. It's pretty sketchy sometimes, but this is where the actual gate is, and you can see Muir Main. So the plan is to go all the way up through there, come out through the lakes, and then head back through here to Shawnigan Lake. So hopefully it'll be a good ride. It should be interesting. It's a little busy with people collecting firewood, I've seen. So the gate's open. That's kind of one of the reasons why it's open. And yeah, we'll carry on and see how it goes. Still working out the suspension. So far, very happy with it. It's all good. Did a big oil change on the bike. And told you last time, put new sprockets on it. It's 14 on the front and 48 on the rear. Not a 50 like I'd mentioned before. So we'll see how this works today. Got everything good to go. Should be a nice, easy ride until it gets real nasty later on. But that's the whole point. And like I said, we'll keep an eye out for the traffic. There's some guys ripping around here pretty good with heavy pickup trucks full of firewood. And you can see Muir Main 4 kilometers up. Up was heading up to the mountain, down is back to the main road. So when you're heading up into the bush. When you're heading down, you're heading hopefully down and out of the bush. Someplace a little bit nicer, a little bit safer. As you can see from my Gaia maps, there's lots of different kind of trails and roads to hang around and try out here. It's nice when the gates are open. There's always some political stuff going on we have with gates and protesters and loggers, firewood carry on the main drag. We should run into no issues at all today with security, given that the gates are open. You do need a permit to collect firewood. You just come here anytime it's open and do your thing. I kind of want to know who you are, I think. Make sure you're following some rules. Don't come up here and hurt yourself. And also gathering wood where you're supposed to be. Not all the areas are open for firewood. Kind of want to have some control over where people are going and doing with doing stuff. But yeah, we just seen a nice little pickup truck head out, 3/4 ton, fully loaded. And I mentioned the guy got here fairly early because he's got a lot of big wood in the back. There was 2 of them, so he didn't have to bucket up as tight as he would if it was just me having to pick up all that stuff. Little birdie. So another beautiful day in Canada, west coast of BC. Getting a little bit chilly this morning. I think we got up, it was like +3 or 4. One of the roads I want to try to do today is Valentine, but one of my buddies on his Tiger Tim, had tried it last weekend and ran into snow and decided to call it a day. So we'll see what happens here today. Get an inch of snow or not. I had come out here years ago when I first got my Tiger. So I came out here a couple times on the big bike. And that was kind of a lot of fun, but I really haven't been on this road because it's been closed so much. I've been busy with vlogging for probably 4 to 5 years, at least the southern part of what I'm doing today. And as you can see, it's pretty easy gravel, so a little bit of snow. So, you know, there's no real big draw other than you can move quickly over it. Already seen a couple families out, little kids with quads, dirt bikes with dad. It's like they're having some little adventures or some pits that they can go play in. right after the gate. It's a short drive in, so don't beat up your truck. A nice pickup truck. And just a nice open pits for stuff. Small little ones can play with their little bikes or their little quads. And a constant adult dad supervision. Hopefully stay safe and secure. And we need to turn it right up here. Just see where that happens. I think it's this one. I think I'm always kind of concerned with the gale. It's got a bit of a delay. I find public firewood. Not quite yet. And the GPS is much sharper now. This is a Samsung Galaxy Ultra 22, and it's on a RAM quad mount with a vibration dampener. And I'm taking a bit of a challenge with that. And when it gets really rough, I'm going to take it off and I'll put it in my pocket or put it in the case here wrapped in a nice cloth. Because a lot of people have talked about the vibration of the smaller bikes. It can get quite bad. I don't think or plan on driving the Jesus out of it today, so hopefully we'll be okay. And the intersection should be coming up, maybe this one. Staying on Muir Main, and I believe it is. Yeah. I'll head up this one. Now, if these roads are active where we're going, they'll be like this will be quite nice. And when I was up here with my Tiger years ago, it was still fairly active, so the roads are well taken care of. There was nothing really sketchy that I needed to worry about. However, it's during the wintertime with all the heavy rain and stuff, these roads can deteriorate very, very quickly. And that's why we sort of have this constant love-hate relationships with the logging companies, because after all, they're the ones that spend all the money maintaining the roads. So we'd love for this to be public park, public open, especially on the weekends. I think there needs to be a conversation where parties agree to share nicely. Certainly there are people who, in the logging companies, I'm sure, I don't have any close friends or family, but you can kind of read the political crystal ball, that are concerned about liability, and optics. As you can see, there's a lot of clear cut here, and there are rules to how much wood you can cut, even though the clear cut looks pretty ugly. And the big thing that's been going on, gosh, I don't know, maybe 20 years or so, is a lot of the work has now been outsourced to subcontractors. And subcontractors get paid by the board feet, and sometimes they really push those rules. And we've seen in the past where they didn't respect the boundaries to the creeks and rivers. In other words, they're not supposed to cut the trees all the way to the bottom of a river or a creek. And what that does is, by having that stand still remaining, they protect washouts in the mud and stuff, the rains come in. Because if you don't have anything holding the soil, then it can get pretty sketchy. And, get erosion. It goes in the creek, of course, it blocks the creek, and any local fish and salmon are now blocked from either spawning or returning to the ocean, because we're not far at all from the ocean. So I certainly understand and respect the need to keep these creeks and the fish in these creeks healthy. But we also have a problem with, for lack of a better word, policing enforcement of some of these consultants and contractors, because they're more than happy to get a little carried away with it. You can see these creeks are beautiful, right? And, all nice and open and wild. Like, how can you not love that? We want to be able to keep as much as the creek beds and fish in the natural habitat as we can, understanding, you know, we want to keep the economy healthy. I'm just going to zoom in quite a bit so I know exactly where I am from now on, because there's a bunch of little turns and twists I'm going to keep on. And as we'll see, the road is going to probably continue to deteriorate the further up we go here. Yet I'm quite pleased with my suspension upgrades from STS. Good old Alice did a really good job. Now Alice is retiring, much deserved, and I met the new guy. He was the actual guy who brought my suspension into town from Nanaimo. He brought it down to Victoria for me. Spent time with him, got to quickly meet his family. I think he's going to be an excellent addition, and of course Alice wants him to do nothing but succeed, so Alice isn't going anywhere other than he's taking some hours and some time with his family, but he's on speed dial, so if anything issue comes up, you know, that's the great thing about, you know, having people close by can help you out. So far these roads have been perfectly fine for the Tiger to be on, but I'm happy to be on the little bike today, just because when things get snotty, it's a lot easier to maneuver, and it's certainly a hell of a lot easier to pick up. Bigger rocks, more washouts, more garbage. Is the order of the day. I want to get up here. I'll see if we see any bears out yet. Haven't seen any spring bears just yet. It's starting to become the time when we would expect that might see more and more of them around. How am I doing? I'm still on the plan. That's good. The route seems good. So far, minor snow with all we've experienced. Starting to work a little bit. Hopefully I'm not breathing too hard on the mic. I sort of feel warming up and leaving out less heat on the heated jacket. Somebody's out here camping the night. This being a 4-day long weekend for many people, I can see where people want to come out. They do lock the gates up at night, so you're kind of buggered. If you want to get out early, you got to wait in the morning time, but why the hell not? Especially if you're going to come up here and camp and, you know, collect some wood and stuff. adjustment on my cell phone. I'm going to push that little target, make sure it stays targeted. Oh, so far, doing real well. Oh, the inReach is tracking us nicely. They got a little cayenne blue line behind all that, telling the family where I am. Now we're getting into the snow. And I don't believe we're done climbing, so we'll see how sketchy this gets. Oh. Really sketchy, as he says. Wouldn't want to have done that on the big bike by myself. Though it's one of those things you've probably been fine. So if you commit to it with a decent enough speed, and as you can see it was very clear, so I knew exactly where the big rock was that I did not want to have hit. If I was on the big bike or even on this bike, going at a decent clip, because that would have bounced off that. Now the big bike has a steering damper, which really helps, but on a rock that size, about the size of a bowling ball, sharp edges, it probably wasn't going to move very far, and the bike would be bouncing around moderately to a lot. Now the one challenge in here, of course, is difficult to stand. That trees are too low. Everyone says, yeah, I stand on the bike a lot. Yeah, sure. Good plan when you can stand. But when you can't stand on the bike, not a good plan. Woohoo! Slipping around a bit in snow. As soon as we get out of the snow, we have a nice grip. So yeah, there hasn't been a lot of logging maintenance in here, obviously, because we are too low, and the branches are a pain in the ass, as you probably can hear, getting right on my helmet. Yeah, and there's the washouts we're talking about. What happens in the winter? And some of them just get bigger and bigger. And we had some real big storms, so real heavy rain this last winter. So you can expect for some of the sections of the road to be really, really washed out and ugly. I don't know who would be coming through here on their pickup truck, but I'm imagining it was just side-by-sides and quads. By given by the how low everything is, somebody could come here with their pickup truck and doesn't give a shit, but I imagine they're all side-by-sides and quads have gone through here. Good day for the little bike. Good day for Gore-Tex boots. Gotta love the Alpenstar's toucan boots. They could be a little heavier, but they tend to do this wet shit quite well. So the snow itself is generally not a horrible thing. What is a horrible thing is, or not horrible, but really stucky, is snow on top of it. Now, this kind of sucks. But sometimes you just find a path, give it a little gas, keep your momentum up, and trust the bike and the tires will do, and the suspension. It'll do all that it's supposed to do, and you'll be fine. Again, not a crossing I would have preferred to do on the big bike, just in case I got trouble, but, you know, sometimes you just gotta have that experience to show you what you can really do. Big rock. Second gear seems to be perfect with this gearing on this bike for this little techie crap. There'll be some guys on Team Orange and their 300 TPIs, so just go blasting through here and make me look like the little old man I actually am. And what do we got? Just a bump. Oh, and it's another. Still pretty high, 1,543 feet is what my GPS is telling me, but we should be heading down fairly soon, I think, because we got to get to the big lakes. Now we're not that far away. And a little more technical road up that way than I want to try. More technical than I want to try, so I'm always saying, not today. So I thought I should be getting close to the downhill section. Starting to head down a bit. Let's see how steep this gets. Woohoo! Faster, but first time on this road in a long time, I'd rather take it easy. Wisdom comes with experience. Experience comes from doing stupid shit when you're young. Oh, nice good drop. Why do we have good off-road tires? That's why. Checking the contour lines on the maps here, they're not too bad. So it's a good idea to know when there's going to be a whole bunch of lines all close together, so you can kind of prepare for the real adventure. What are these guys got us blocked off, or what the fuck's going on here? Alright, can't see what's on the other side. So time for a Recon Mission. Looks like the main drag we're connecting to, which is cool. This is easy, I have no issues at all with this. I'll see what I'm getting myself into on the other side. And that is a modular steel bridge by Steel Corp. Easy money, hey? Easy money. Because I didn't see this, I wasn't going to hit this. I don't want to get up here and go, well, fuck. Wrong spot, wrong slot. Again, Gore-Tex boots. Gotta love that shit. Just stop here, look at the beautiful falls. Gotta love a rainforest, eh? Everything's so green and pretty. Just sometimes a little chilly. And this is the west coast of Canada. I feel like a belt buckle down here. I gotta deal up. There we go. So here we are. That's the main drag. It's gonna go that way. We're not gonna go that way. We're gonna go this way. Check out the name. Just take a look. See. So that's where we are. We're gonna go back here. This is like a main highway for logging roads. Again, nothing dramatic there. This blue line here is Valentine, Maine. I want to do that. This is beautiful in here, but Ricky Billy, that's my brother Billy and I went. It's too technical for one bike, one person on one bike. It is one of those places where it's really easy to get into trouble. There's a couple real nasty washouts that we actually did. You know, we had two people. Of course, you have no trouble with it, right? You just go through it, and but I don't want to get there and get in trouble. Hard for people to get to, hard for people to find. So let's not do that. Yeah, I'll plug in my jacket because it's going to get chilly here fairly soon, I think. If the speed goes up. I've had the jacket just on low and I've had no trouble. Oop. Yeah. Oops. There we go. That is the big difference between a 250 and an 800. No torque! Well, actually, you've seen it actually did really well on that last road. Had no issues at all with it, but when you jump from one bike to the other, there's a bit of a like, oh yeah, more gas. Or, oh yeah, no more gas. interesting. All these big adventure bikes, you go, oh, we got tons of power, we got this and that. What does everybody do as soon as they get off onto these roads, even like this? They put them in off-road mode. They all go down under 100 horsepower, calm everything down. Throttle response gets calmed down, everything gets calmed down. Get traction control on. You don't want all that freaking horsepower going completely snake shit on you and causing you to go have a crash. So that's what everybody does. Slow it all down. Of course, this bike has 2 modes, on and off. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The little WR is quite an interesting story. From my understanding, I was doing kind of my research on it. The Yamaha came out with this bike mostly for the Japanese market as a little, you know, ride around town, you know, weekend tour. For, you know, basically for the, you know, people, Japanese, smaller stature. Good suspension, but again, really sprung for, you know, 180 pounds, so 2 small people, you know, for little weekend trips, it's more than doable. And of course, being a Yamaha, it's very reliable, knock on wood. Don't curse myself, but they are known for being extremely reliable, great bikes, and other than the, you know, not having an additional preload, the suspension is excellent, and if tuned properly and sprung for your weight, does really, really remarkably well. So that was worth having. We're kind of disappointed that Yamaha stopped making them. I think around 2000 was the last model year. Maybe it was 2001. They were 10 years old. They are fuel injected, but I guess even with all the things they could do to it, passing the European curbs is probably not one of them for the smog test and so forth. So they do have a 300cc motorbike out that we're all expecting will get dropped into this. But right now they are selling their 700, Yamaha T700s. Like there's no tomorrow. They're extremely popular. Everybody loves them. And this is interesting, because I'm assuming that's not the lake, or it's a campground or something. Is that what I thought? I gotta turn right here. Yeah. No idea what that is. Let's not go there right now. So anyway, yeah, the Yamaha has been extremely popular. It was kind of surprising. A lot of people who kind of came up on it. There we are. And with one of the videos I seen was the Yamaha actually brought out a bunch of people from Australia and New Zealand. I think to New Zealand. Because in Australia, spent a couple of days on it. Guys with big bikes, everyone just absolutely fell in love with it. There we go. This is a bit of a lake approach. And, you know, they wanted to use it for dual purpose. And sales really took off and extremely popular. There's other bikes in this class, the DRZ 400, which has a little more torque, but the bang for dollar and performance and maintenance and yada yada yada, it's pretty hard to beat. You know, most people agree it's a great little bike. And last couple of years, I have had it for I think 4 years now. A couple of years before COVID, before the prices went stupidly high expensive. I looked at different alternatives and thought, you know, KTM, get a 350 KTM or Husqvarna or even the 400s. We're in with guys with those. Amazing amount of torque, great bikes. But I thought, yeah, I just don't want to spend that kind of money. And, you know, for $1,400 Canadian, I got the suspension all done here on it, so that's all good. And other than, you could always have more torque, but as you've seen in this video so far in the roads we drove on, really do I need any more? The only time you really notice it, of course, is on the highway. And I said my other bike, my Tiger 800, to get that on the highway, it's like, yeah, it's a sport bike with bumpy tires. It just flies, and it's so comfortable on the highway. It gets buzzy. Low windshield, of course, probably doesn't help. But and then I've got pretty aggressive tires, like I said, the MT21's on the rear, and I have the same IRC TR8 on this and on the Tiger, and I really like that tire so far. It's been my go-to tire, plus it's damn cheap. I'll let these guys come through. The little side-by-sides. Gentlemen? Oh, is it? So you can't get through it all, eh? Well, I'd like to get on the other side. Is there any way to get over there? No, we just got to turn around, eh? Okay. Okay, so there's no way to get on the other side over there? Oh, well, we can turn around and go back. It is still. Thank you. Well, there we go. We're screwed. Alrighty. Now the other alternative I have, potentially, is to come down through there. So we'll go back through here. We've got to go up that hill and all that shitty shit again. And come back that way. We can go back down. Okay. Fair enough. That's why we have a full load of gas. And we have lots of time in the day. As the man said, be prepared for an adventure. Not surprising, like I mentioned earlier, with all this weather we've been having, that things would be washed out. That's kind of what we expected. So to be honest, I was expecting it at the higher elevations, not here so much. Like, why not down low? But of course, the bottom of the hills, it's where the water gathers to its highest volume. As it comes down, the side of a hill, it gets bigger and bigger until it hits the lake here or the ocean on the other side. And when it's moving quickly, it can cause a lot of damage, as we know. If you've seen any of the recent media events, I've seen that Australia got a massive flood just a few months ago again, and that really sucked for them. My wife and I, she's a Kiwi chick, we were actually there a few years ago, when there was both I always want to see that dam, when there was both the tsunami that hit Phuket, killed a lot of people, and then we were in Brisbane, actually up at Noosa Heads, and came back a day or two early because we heard there was big storms and big high risk of flooding, and that turned out to be true. In fact, there was. And we got out just as the rivers were rising, and passed over a couple of bridges on the Bruce Highway. It's the main highway that goes all the way up from, gosh, I don't know if it goes all the way up from Sydney, but certainly from Brisbane up to Cairns, called the Bruce Highway. And we're going over some of the bridges there, and the water was just inches from the bottom of the bridge, where normally it would be several feet. And that was a bit of a relief to kind of get out of there. And had family there, of course, my wife's family, and most of them were fine, but one of the fellows, his heavy-duty mechanic, his shop was under 15 feet of water. They have a large heavy-duty truck shop, so the ceilings are very high, and at least 20 feet. You got to be able to lift up a semi-truck up on a hoist if you need to, or put a crane to get an engine out of a semi-truck. So the roof's very high, and at 15 feet above the shop floor, the concrete shop floor, was the muddy water line. And that's how they could tell how high the water was. And his toolbox was full of silt. So every tool had to be cleaned. And of course, every ratchet or movable tool that's made out of metal survived. But you gotta sit there for days in his living room with a stainless steel little bowl and try and clean out all the silt from the mechanisms. Because the silt just is suspended in the dirty water, and as the water recedes, it stops. Of course, gravity takes over, and it just sets. So the water brings it into everything, and then when it leaves, it just leaves it where it is, because the water goes down quite a bit slower than when it went up. And so, yeah, his toolbox was like silty concrete. I got to it, and of course, all those electronic tools. And those are expensive. Electronic meters, torque wrenches, anything that was worth probably more than $500 was destroyed. It did have insurance, but of course insurance is not to recover you fully, it's just to help you recover. And so, still out several thousands of dollars. And also, obviously, it took a while to get back to work, because the shop was not serviceable, which is unfortunate, but kind of the way it just happened. So even though we've had a bit of a disappointment on a track that we've been turned around on, it is still a beautiful day. So it's all just part of the day and the adventure. We know we're going to have those things, and schedule your time accordingly. Be ready to turn around whenever you need to. There's me. I'm going to do this one more time, the other way around. Bigger drop this time, and I'm up the hill. Oh, these guys are going this way. I thought they might. Hopefully they'll push more trees over for us. Give them a little bit of room, so I have room to do what I need to do on this hill. Because I don't like stopping halfway up a freaking hill, especially on slippery rocks. Yeah, I'll just stay in first gear for now. Shitload of torque. Keep the RPMs up. Keep the speed reasonable so I can see where I'm getting my stuff into. I want to jump up one. Let the suspension do its working, and the problem is I can't stand up very often. As soon as I stand up, my head's in the trees. Yes. Woohoo! This is the way we'll go. Giving our suspension a good workout on the climb up. Lots of sharp rocks fucking around that we're doing. hopefully those guys are staying up behind me, because I can always put the bike in the back of their little SUV or side by side if I have to break something, which would be well worth a large bottle of whiskey or whatever the hell those guys want. Because usually people just don't, when you help somebody in the bush, it's kind of a karma thing. You don't want to take anything from it, but the karma thing I believe in is you get help, man. Give them someone. And everybody's different. A lot of people don't drink nowadays, but they have friends who will enjoy a bottle and they'll give away. Or the other thing is a meal at your favorite restaurant. And between gift certificates and electronic email transfer, I like to keep everybody happy, especially karma. It's always a good thing, I think, anyway. And I'm assuming those guys are the ones who lay down these tracks that we've seen here today. Let's see, I'm not the only one that's trying to get through here. Like I said, it would be good if they colored out more of the branches, knock more a few of them down, but I'm sure they actually did, and that's probably why all these branches are on the ground, so I'm happy somebody came through here for, because it'd been a pain in the ass otherwise. Oh yeah, this frickin' thing is going to be interesting. But we did alright. Another big dump. And stay out of the snow wreck. That's where traction goes south in a hurry. Another big hole. That's 1,700. I know we go over 2,000 feet. Currently it's 1,711. Woohoo! And thank God for lateral traction. I can feel the front tire getting over outside in the snow. I said these wet rocks, you put snow on a wet rock, and there's nothing really for nobbies to grip into. Snow and dirt, of course, itself is not a problem, but because this weather is quite warm and everything's melting, the snow, it's very wet and dense and sucks for traction. Well, had a little branch snagged in my foot. Love my open stars. Doing a good job as usual. Now clearly that lady in the car did not come this way. I think she stayed on that main drag. Oop, get down. Another big branch on the leg. Can just kind of feel it through all the heavy padding that these boots come with, which is very helpful. Some of these branches probably would really hurt if you were just wearing normal boots, normal street boots. hiking boots, whatever. You really want to have off-road boots with really good shin protection. I'm not wearing my knee pads today. I have a really good set of climbing knee pads that I often wear. For whatever reason, I decided that today was not the day, but it could have been a good day. It wouldn't have been a bad day to have those extra pads all the way up to the knee. It's one of those things that's not that all uncomfortable to wear once you get used to it, but it's one of those things you don't really need it until you need it, and then when you need it, you're so happy you have that extra protection on your shin and your knee. And if you have to work on the bike and be on your knees at all, with flat tires or whatever issue, they're super nice to have. There's a little creek again. That's deep, but we get through it. Try to miss the big rocks. We did. We got up over here, and there we are. Now, back in the sunshine. I believe the road should be in better shape now, from what I recall. Nice little bit of fresh air at speed. It's hard to believe 38 kilometers is so fast sometimes, right? You end up doing all that real sketchy stuff at 15, 20 kilometers an hour, and you think, and then you get up to 40 and you're like, oh my god, it's an interstate, I'm doing 110 miles an hour. Try to keep our eyes out. Hopefully we'll spot a bear today. And they won't be too grumpy coming out from this den. I'll still have life. I'm going to change my battery soon. What am I seeing? Yeah, pretty close. I'll come up here, stop, change my battery. And, pretty nice break. Maybe take some pictures of the view. Decide if I want to tackle the other approach. I got one more road to sort of get to the same destination on the different side of a river that might be worth having a peek at. I think I'm just going to stop up here and do a quick battery change. Check out the bike. I was pretty rough on it. I lost a little bit. Make sure everything's tickety-boo. And check in a moment. See ya.